Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to talk about the kettlebell rack box step up. The kettlebell rack box step up is probably the best way to add weight to a box step up if you're trying to increase your athleticism in the least amount of time. We're going to talk about three versions of it: the alternating lead, alternating step box step up in rack position, the ipsilateral box step up, which means same side load, and the contralateral load, which means opposite hand, opposite leg load, which is probably the most beneficial for the most people in the least amount of time. Let's review the two stepping patterns first. Stepping pattern number one is our alternating step up. Right, left, change lead, left, right, change lead, right, left, change lead, and left, right. Second stepping pattern is where the foot does not move. Set your foot on the box, point your foot straight ahead, stand all the way up until your leg is perfectly straight, squeeze your glutes at the top, drive your rib cage down, make your spine as vertical as possible. Step all the way down. Do not step down with the lead leg. Leave it in place. This is a modification for people who have weak ankles, weak knees, or weak lower back. Anybody who has discomfort in those areas should do this version. The lead foot does not move. It points straight ahead because that's the way that we should walk. Stand all the way up. Straighten out all your joints. Get down nice and smooth, making no noise. Stand up, get down, stand up, get down. It is an isolation version where we remove the movement of the foot so that we can control the dynamics of the ankle, knee, hip, and spinal alignment. A problem that many people have with these activities is that when they stand up, during the process, they rock forward and they deviate their spine to get up and down. We would like to encourage people through training to make their spine as vertical as possible so that their core is doing its job. The human core is meant to stand generally upright. We are an upright species and our feet are supposed to point generally straight ahead. In order to encourage people not to go into this position, which can exacerbate various types of back pain and hip pain and knee pain, we're gonna add a kettlebell to the system. We're gonna get our kettlebell up to the rack position. Our rack position should have our thumb at collarbone height. Our forearm should be vertical, no elbow sticking out, and no bent wrist. Grab the elbow, pull it in. If you open your hand and your fingers are pointed straight up, you're doing it generally correct. If you open your hand and your fingers are pointed to the side, adjust your kettlebell. The L of your hand goes into the L of the kettlebell. Get rid of any gap in the corner of the kettlebell. Move your hand all the way into the corner. Rotate the kettlebell to a 45-degree angle. If it's parallel like a barbell, it's going to get worse over time, not better. Adjust the kettlebell into the proper position, handle it 45 degrees, L to the L, fingers vertical, forearm vertical, thumb at collarbone height. Version 1, right, left, change lead, left, change lead, right, left, change lead. There are two types of core load in this. When we have our right leg as our lead leg and the weight is in our left hand, we stand up. The load is opposite of the hip we are using. When we step up with our left leg, it is left hand, left leg, and we stand all the way up to the top. Those are two different types of core load, and everybody should work on both of them by doing the alternating step up. This causes the muscles in your core to fire back and forth as they would in the real world during walking patterns, but all in a small space with a controllable load so that we can get better over time, not worse. The kettlebell encourages us to have good crown to coccyx of our tailbone alignment, which means vertical spine. As the box gets higher, people are going to want to deviate forward. The more people deviate forward, the heavier the bell becomes. It will encourage you to keep your spine vertical throughout the course of the movement, which is what we are trying to get with this exercise. If people are not straightening out their knees at the top, they are not locking out their glutes at the top, then we can reduce it down to not moving the feet. Get your kettlebell to your rack position. Right foot on the box, foot pointed perfectly straight ahead. If your feet are turned out or your ankles are rolled in, take this opportunity to point the foot straight ahead. That can be very difficult for many people if they've been turning out for a long period of time. Turning out is not natural. Pointing your feet straight ahead is natural. Opposite load, right leg, left hand. This is the most beneficial version. Stand all the way up, straighten the leg, all the way out. Tuck your tailbone underneath. Squeeze the glute so that your abs can be on. Holding any amount of weight on one side will help encourage your core to fire harder. Get down. Do not move the lead foot. Stand up, lock out, glute squeeze, ribs down. Get down. Stand up, lock out, glute squeeze, ribs down, step down. The contralateral, or left hand, right leg, or opposite of that, right hand, left leg, is the most beneficial because it causes your core to fire harder for less weight. If you are going up in weight at some point, you may need to jump to the ipsilateral, which means same side. So left hand, left leg, stand all the way up, get all the way down, stand all the way up, get all the way down, stand all the way up, lock out, quad, glute, rib cage, all the way down. These are simple drills. That does not mean that they are easy. The important part is that you stand all the way up at the top and you try to keep your crown to coccyx alignment as vertical as possible. The more you deviate forward, the heavier the bell becomes. This is an exercise that we use for every athlete of every level at some point in their training because we could all stand up better because we live in the modern world and we're all adapted to sitting down and being on computers all the time. The easiest way to do this in the beginning is time under tension. Hold the kettlebell, record the weight, do 30, 60, or 90 seconds of it, count how many reps you do in those periods of time, and then the next time, try to do one more good technique, still getting your quad fire, your glute fire, and your crown to coccyx alignment abdominal firing. If you have limited numbers of light weights, do time under tension. Go faster in the same amount of time. If you have access to heavier weights, do things like 3 sets of 3 or 5 sets of 5. Easy to program, easy to do. Make your spine vertical, improve your athleticism for the minimum amount of time.